What does it take for a man born in colonial Africa to rise and lead his nation to independence? Let's turn our gaze to a time more than a century ago, to the birth of a child who would grow up to be a pivotal figure in Mali's struggle for independence, Modibo Keïta. Born on a clear day, June 4, 1915, in the heart of Bamako, French Sudan, now known as Mali, Keïta's life was destined to be extraordinary. His formal education began in Senegal and Mali, before he journeyed to France, seeking higher education. It was in the prestigious halls of the University of Bordeaux and the École Normale Supérieure in Paris that Keïta honed his intellectual prowess, a necessary tool for the political battles that lay ahead. This young man from Bamako was not just a student, he was a sponge, absorbing the knowledge that would fuel his future endeavors. An educated man, Keïta's journey towards political activism was just beginning. In the 1940s, a spark of nationalism ignited within Keïta. Modibo Keïta, having been educated in Senegal, Mali and France, had seen firsthand the disparities between the colonizers and the colonized. This experience fueled his drive to fight for the rights of his people. Keïta found his political home in the Union Sudanese Party, a group that championed the rights of the people of French Sudan, now known as Mali. At the heart of this party was a strong anti-colonial sentiment, a desire to free the people of French Sudan from the shackles of French rule. Keïta was not just a member of this party, he was its soul, its driving force. His charisma and eloquence made him a natural leader. He had a unique ability to connect with people from all walks of life, from the rural farmer to the urban intellectual. He could articulate the dreams and aspirations of his people in a way that resonated with everyone. Keïta's leadership was not limited to speeches and meetings. He was deeply involved in grassroots activism, rallying support for independence from French colonial rule. He organized strikes, demonstrations and rallies, using every opportunity to make his voice and the voice of his people heard. His efforts did not go unnoticed. He faced persecution, threats and even imprisonment, but he remained undeterred. His resolve only strengthened, his voice only grew louder. He became the face of the independence movement, a symbol of hope for his people. Keïta's influence extended beyond the borders of French Sudan. He forged alliances with other anti-colonial movements across Africa, creating a network of solidarity and support. These connections were instrumental in building momentum for the independence movement, not just in French Sudan, but across the continent. As the decade drew to a close, Keïta had emerged as a powerful nationalist leader. His tireless efforts and unwavering commitment to the cause of independence had galvanized his people and shaken the foundations of French colonial rule. Keïta's leadership was instrumental in the fight for independence. His story is a testament to the power of conviction, the strength of unity, and the indomitable spirit of a people yearning for freedom. In 1960, a new nation was born, and a new leader emerged. As the tapestry of colonial rule was unraveled, French Sudan found itself a part of the Mali Federation, standing strong and independent, with Modibo Keïta at its helm as the first president. This moment marked a significant turning point not just for Mali, but for the entire African continent as it stepped into a new era of self-governance and self-determination. Keïta, a man of vision and tenacity, was determined to chart a course for his country that was rooted in the principles of socialism. He believed in the power of the people, in their right to land, and in their capacity to shape their own destiny. Land reform, therefore, became a cornerstone of his presidency. He sought to redistribute land equitably among the people, breaking the chains of feudalism that had long held the masses in its grip. Education was another critical area of focus for Keïta. He believed that the key to a prosperous future lay in the hands of an educated populace. Thus, he championed for educational reforms, aiming to make education accessible to all, irrespective of their socio-economic background. Healthcare, too, was high on Keïta's list of priorities. He recognized that a healthy nation was a strong nation, and so he put in place measures to enhance healthcare provision, ensuring that all Malians had access to quality healthcare services. Keïta was also a torchbearer of industrialization. He understood the importance of a robust industrial sector in driving economic growth and in creating jobs. His presidency saw concerted efforts to stimulate industrial development, thereby laying the groundwork for a thriving economy. In essence, Keïta's presidency was characterized by a socialist agenda that sought to uplift the masses and transform Mali into a modern, progressive nation. His policies were rooted in a deep-seated belief in the power of the people and in the importance of social justice. Under Keïta's presidency, Mali was set on a path of socialist reforms and modernization. His leadership marked the dawn of a new era of hope and aspiration for the Malian people, a legacy that continues to resonate even today. Keïta's vision for Mali was rooted in socialism and development. This was a time of change and transformation, a time when the newly independent nation sought to find its footing on the global stage. Keïta, as the country's first president, was at the helm of this monumental task. He pursued a socialist agenda, believing in the power of the people and the need to redistribute wealth and resources. He nationalized key industries, bringing them under the control of the state. This move was aimed at ensuring that the profits from these industries would be used for the benefit of all Malians, not just a select few. Keïta also promoted agricultural cooperatives, recognizing the importance of farming to Mali's economy. Through these cooperatives, farmers were given the tools and resources they needed to improve their yields, thus boosting the nation's food security and economic stability. Perhaps most significantly, Keïta invested heavily in infrastructure and education. He initiated ambitious development projects, including the construction of roads, schools, and hospitals. These projects not only created jobs, but also laid the groundwork for future development and progress. Education, too, was a priority for Keïta. He believed that an educated populace was key to building a strong, prosperous nation. His government implemented policies aimed at increasing access to education, particularly for those in rural areas. Keïta's socialist policies aimed at transforming Mali into a modern nation. His efforts laid the foundation for the development of Mali, setting the stage for the challenges and triumphs that would come in the years ahead. Keïta was not only a nationalist but also a Pan-Africanist. His belief in the unity and cooperation of African countries was a driving force behind his political philosophy. He staunchly believed that the strength of Africa lay in its unity and the shared experiences of its people. His commitment to this ideal was not just theoretical, but was reflected in his active involvement in shaping Africa's future. In the early 60s, Keïta played a crucial role in the establishment of a groundbreaking political alliance, the Organization of African Unity, or OAU. Formed in 1963, the OAU was a testament to the collective will of African nations to work together for mutual benefit. The organization aimed to promote solidarity among African nations, enhancing their political, economic, and social cooperation. Keïta's vision was instrumental in shaping the OAU's objectives, and his leadership helped to forge a path for greater unity among African nations. His commitment to Pan-Africanism was not just about creating an alliance of nations, but also about fostering a sense of shared identity and purpose among the people of Africa. His foreign policy was a reflection of this vision. He sought to build bridges, not walls, and believed in the power of unity to overcome the challenges that faced the continent. Keïta's vision extended beyond Mali, aiming for unity and solidarity among African nations. His commitment to Pan-Africanism remains a significant part of his enduring legacy. Despite his ambitions, Keïta's presidency was marked by challenges. His vision for modernizing Mali and implementing socialist policies was met with opposition from various factions. Conservative elements within Mali resisted his reforms, while the pressures of Cold War politics added another layer of complexity. Economic challenges began to mount, creating a sense of unease among the populace. Political repression, an unfortunate byproduct of his administration, further fueled the growing discontent. In 1968, this bubbling unrest culminated in a military coup led by Moussa Traoré, effectively overthrowing Keïta's government. Keïta was subsequently imprisoned, and he lived the remainder of his years under house arrest. His political journey, once marked by a relentless quest for independence and a burning desire to uplift his nation, ended in isolation and confinement. He passed away on May 16, 1977, leaving behind a legacy as complex as the era he lived in. Keïta's political journey was fraught with challenges that eventually led to his downfall. Despite the controversies, Keïta's impact on Mali and Africa is undeniable. Modibo Keïta's legacy is one of a nationalist leader, a man who stood at the forefront of Mali's struggle for independence, and the architect of the early years of nation-building. His commitment to social justice was unwavering, and it informed every policy, every decision he made. His belief in the power of Pan-Africanism was not just a political stance, but a deeply held conviction that African nations could and should stand together in unity and cooperation. But perhaps his most enduring legacy is his vision for the development of Mali. From investing in infrastructure and education to initiating ambitious projects, Keïta was a man who believed in the potential of his country, in the strength and resilience of its people. Modibo Keïta's story reflects the aspirations and challenges of newly independent African nations in the mid-20th century.